Manu Koné, Manchester United. I gave you yesterday the information. Today I say his name. I saw his name everywhere. Yesterday before the game, I came here and I told you, watch out on Manchester United because they are not done in midfield. They signed André Santos, they signed Yuri Tielemans. Ederson is not happening. Ederson is 100% off, so there is no chance to revisit the deal or to try again. That's absolute bullshit. The reality is that Manchester United are looking at a defensive midfielder, and Manu Koné is one of the names on the list. They had a phone contact with the agents of the player. The relationship between the agents of the player and Manchester United is an excellent relationship. As of today, Roma are yet to receive any formal approach from Man United. So Man United didn't send a bid.
Manchester United fans drop everything because this is big news. Fabrizio Romano has just confirmed that Manchester United have made direct contact with the agents of Manu Koné. Not rumours, not speculation. A confirmed phone call from United to Koné's camp in the last few days. This comes right after United completed 2 midfield signings this summer. André Santos from Chelsea and Yuri Tielemans on a release clause from Aston Villa. And now, they want a third. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what Romano said, why the Ederson deal has completely collapsed, what Roma actually want for Koné, and why United genuinely believe they have an edge in this race. Stay to the end, because there's a twist involving a Premier League rival who could hijack this deal. Let's get into it. The headline news, what Romano actually said. So here's the situation in full. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Romano opened with a direct message to United fans, essentially saying, watch this space because United are moving fast. He confirmed United are actively strengthening their midfield and are not finished, despite already landing Santos and Tielemans. And crucially, he described United's approach this summer as sharper and more decisive than in recent windows, quick to identify targets and quick to close. Then came the 2 headline pieces of news. First, Ederson. United had been loosely linked with the Brazilian defensive midfielder for weeks, but Romano has now stated that the Ederson deal is completely off the table with no chance of revival, dismissing any suggestion otherwise. So if you've seen those Ederson rumours floating around, forget them. That's done. Second, and this is the big one, Koné. United have now shifted their full attention to the AS Roma midfielder, and Romano says United hold positive phone contact with Koné's agents and have an excellent relationship with them, though no formal bid has yet been made to Roma. So to be clear on where things stand right now, contact made, relationship strong, no official bid yet. That's the state of play. Now let's dig into why this specific player and why now. Who is Manu Koné and why United want him? If you're not familiar with Manu Koné, let me catch you up, because this isn't some speculative punt. This is a proven top-level defensive midfielder. Koné is 25 years old, a French international and a physical ball-winning number 6 who's just come off the back of a huge World Cup campaign. When Aurélien Tchouameni went down injured, Koné stepped in for France during the knockout stages, and by several accounts, matched or even outperformed the Real Madrid man in possession. That's not a small thing. Stepping into a World Cup knockout tie for an injured Tchouameni and holding your own is exactly the kind of statement that gets recruitment departments picking up the phone. Standing at 6 feet 1 inch, Koné brings the physicality United have been crying out for since Casemiro's decline. He's an aggressive ball winner, but he's also comfortable carrying the ball through midfield under pressure, not just a pure destroyer. And here's the football logic behind the move. Casemiro is on his way out the door, Manuel Ugarte is currently injured and has struggled for consistent form, and Kobbie Manu needs support around him. Santos and Tielemans both bring passing quality and composure on the ball, but neither is the physical, combative presence Koné represents. United reportedly want a midfielder with legs and physicality to sit alongside their new arrivals, and Koné fits that profile perfectly. The money. What will it actually cost? Now let's talk price, because this is where the noise online has been getting out of hand. There have been reports floating around suggesting Roma wants somewhere between 80 and 90 million euros for Koné. Romano has directly shut that down, saying those figures are exaggerated. The player is expensive, but nowhere near that level. More realistic estimates from other reporting put Roma's valuation at somewhere around £50 million, give or take. Koné still has 3 years left on his contract in Rome, so there's no desperation sale here. But Roma is said to have financial pressures that could ultimately force their hand if the right offer lands. Compare that to what United nearly spent elsewhere this summer. Early in the window, they were linked with a combined package of over £300 million for Elliot Anderson, Sandro Tonali and Matheus Fernandes. Deals United ultimately walked away from because the prices didn't add up. Fans were frustrated at the time, calling the club too cautious. But look at how that patience has paid off. Santos arrived for around 50 million as part of a package deal from Chelsea. Tielemans arrived for 35 million via a release clause from Aston Villa. And now they're targeting Koné at a price roughly in that same 50 million range. That's a midfield rebuild built on value, not vanity spending. And United still have plenty of budget left after those two deals to make a genuine move for Koné. Here's the part that should give United fans real hope. This isn't a cold approach out of nowhere. United's recruitment setup, led by Jason Wilcox, with new CEO Omar Barada also playing a role, is said to have an excellent existing relationship with Koné's representatives. That relationship is being described as United's genuine advantage in this race, because it's not just about who can pay the fee, it's about who the player and his camp actually want to negotiate with. Roma, for their part, haven't received a formal approach yet. This is still very much in the exploratory phase. But the fact United have already made direct calls to the player's side, rather than going through intermediaries or press leaks, tells you how seriously they're treating this deal. United are reportedly taking a bit of time here rather than rushing in blind. After the whirlwind pace of the Santos and Tielemans deals, the club is said to be carefully weighing Koné against other defensive midfield options on their list before committing to who they push hardest for. The competition. Why United can't afford to sleep on this. Now here's the twist I promised you at the start. United are not the only club aware of Koné's situation. Reports have suggested a Premier League rival is positioned to try and hijack this deal if United hesitate too long. In a market where Roma are open to a sale under the right financial pressure, and where Koné's stock has never been higher after his World Cup performances, this is exactly the kind of situation where a rival club with cash to spend could swoop in and disrupt everything. That's why the next couple of weeks matter so much. United have the relationship advantage. They have the budget. They have a clearly defined need. But advantage on paper only counts for something if it turns into an actual bid before somebody else moves. Let's zoom out for a second, because this Koné pursuit doesn't exist in isolation. It's part of a much bigger midfield reset happening at Old Trafford this summer. Santos brings energy, aggression, and long-term potential as a genuine Casemiro successor for both club and country. Tielemans brings Premier League proven quality and the kind of progressive, line-breaking passing United have badly missed. If Koné completes the trio, United would have composure, energy, and now serious physicality all in one midfield unit. Arguably the most balanced central midfield United have assembled in years. And remember, this all comes after United deliberately walked away from 3 overpriced targets earlier in the window. That discipline is now translating into smart, value-driven business. And fans who were nervous in June should be feeling a lot more confident about the direction of this rebuild in July. What happens next? So where does this go from here? Based on everything Romano has said, the next step is a formal approach to Roma. Something that hasn't happened yet. If Roma's valuation lands around that 50 million mark, rather than the inflated 80 to 90 figure being thrown around online, expect United to move relatively quickly once talks officially open, given the pace they've shown with Santos and Tielemans. Watch for 3 things in the coming days: a formal bid being lodged, any concrete rival interest turning into an actual offer, and whether United's data-driven approach sees them pivot toward alternatives like Carlos Baleba or Alex Scott if Koné's deal stalls. So there you have it. Ederson is dead, Koné is very much alive, and Manchester United look like they're building something genuinely exciting in midfield this summer. Let me know in the comments, are you excited about a Koné move, or would you rather United went all in on a different target? Smash that like button if you want more United transfer coverage, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.